Everybody ready?
I got hope.
On camera.
Look at that. Jim, you're on camera.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll call this meeting of Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors to order. Welcome everyone, everybody to be here. The purpose of our business tonight is mainly budget adoption and tax rate adoption. But at this time, I will ask that you stand for our pledge of flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Well, our first order of business is the adoption of the 2020-2021 budget. Mr. Gardner, do you have any comments to make before we proceed?
No, sir.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, seeing no questions, I will call for a roll call vote. Judy, please.
Mr. Franklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Lundy.
Yes.
Mr. Tanner?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Hargrove?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Mr. Spain?
Yes.
Mr. Barber?
Yes. Okay, that motion carries. The budget is adopted. Next, we move on to adoption of the tax ordinance. Our tax rates are remaining steady, no change in the tax rates. Is that correct, Mr. Carter?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
All right, any questions concerning the adoption of the tax ordinance? If not, Judy, would you please call the roll?
Need a motion.
We need a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion to adopt the tax ordinance. Now, Judy, would you call?
Mr. Franklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Lundy.
Yes.
Mr. Tanner?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Hargrove?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Mr. Spain?
Yes.
Mr. Barber?
Yes. Okay, thank you. So the tax ordinance is adopted. Next is the adoption of the appropriations resolution. Basically, what this means is we adopted the budget and we're going to authorize staff to spend the money. So we need a motion to adopt the appropriations resolution.
Mr. Chair, I so move.
But we have a motion. Any questions? If not, Judy, call the roll.
Mr. Franklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Lundy.
Yes.
Mr. Tanner?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Hargrove?
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson?
Yes.
Mr. Spain?
Yes.
Mr. Barber?
Yes. Okay, the appropriations resolution is adopted. Next, we have authorization end of year fund transfers. Ms. Carter, you might want to kind of explain. We got a couple of new board members, make sure they understand.
Yes, sir. At the end of the year, each line item in your budget can be up or down. And one department could be above a little bit or below a little bit. Because of that, what we do is Nancy goes and transfers it back and forth. We don't add any more money to the general fund budget or the fund balance budgets. If to do that, we would have to have a separate appropriation. What it does, though, is under the general fund, we will move the monies back and forth between line items and between line items under each budget line item, back and forth for that. Instead of y'all having to come back and meet to say, okay, we're going to move $12 from this line item in office supplies to fuel under this item or something else. We do that internally. Myself, Sandra, and the chairman sign off on that. Sandra and I, we send that, my staff does to Sandra, and it's done from there. The total budget doesn't change that. Right.
All right, so we need a motion to authorize the end of the year fund transfer. We heard the motion, any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any other matters that we need to bring before this board tonight?
Well, one thing, we kind of got this budget behind us and all, and I know what the county assessments has come out this week. And Wayne, how much over the county did that go up?
When we did the budget, if it's more than 1%, we have to advertise that. When Ed did it, it was 0.98 of 1%.
Of the new assessments right now?
Right, it's less than 1% increase of the existing assessments over, for the new assessments. That does not take into account any new construction that happened in the past year, but the assessments themselves were less than 1% increase, which we told y'all when we were doing the budget. That was a surprise to us. We thought we would have had higher than that. I know some people have gotten more than 1%, others got decreases. Mr. James was asking me, I said, I don't know, farmland, that probably hasn't been a lot sold, but in the last year with what the farming economy was, I doubt it increased in price very much. I'm sure some lake property did go up.
How about, the price of land being sold? How about the solar farms? Did that come in effect in any way? Or those prices?
That would be, I don't know that did. That would be something that we'd have to ask the Commissioner of Revenue.
Well, I know it's less than 1%. I'm just asking a question here. I've got some phone calls, and I mean, even on mine, I've seen some that, went up 20%, some went down 10%. I assume probably nobody that's called me yet that got a decrease in 10%, but I mean, I did have one call that it went up like 25%, and it was no new construction, anything like that. That's with everything going on with the economy, that's kind of a large hit for somebody. My question would, if it's such a small increase, is it any way of putting that off for 6 months?
Well, your budget's based
instead of
upon
coming in effect in next year in June, July 1, could we do it January?
That's a question you'd have to ask the Commissioner. We're set up on a 2-year reassessment. The assessment values go into effect July 1. Based upon that is my understanding. But that's actually a question for the Commissioner. I'll be glad to ask him tomorrow, and he can send y'all out a letter. The reality is, there's always going to be some that go up or down. If they're not happy with the assessment, they can then contact his office. They can see if they've made a mistake, and go from there. And then if they do not like what his office has to say, they can appeal to the Board of Equalization.
Right, and I think my biggest concern is, I understand that, but with the state of the economy today, that's what I don't think we're gonna be right back full blast going again in 6 months from now. I think we're gonna be getting some of the same effects going forward.
Mr. Chairman, I have had the same concerns that Mr. Rankley's had, and I've had some people address it, and I've talked to Wayne about that. Maybe if the Commissioner of Revenue could, give a formal explanation at our June meeting, I think would be appropriate, and maybe we can get some of these questions answered at that time. But I do know one piece of property went up 40%. It was a lake piece of property. I don't know why, but it did go up 40%.
Okay, yeah, we'll have the Commissioner, come in the June meeting and give us an explanation of what's going on with that.
Thank you. Thanks.
Anything else? I want to remind those members of the Lake Committee that there's a meeting at 7:30 for those folks.
I just got a warning on my phone right here for tornado warning until 7:30 for this area. Through the National Weather Emergency Alert. I don't know what's going on there. So.
Well, maybe we should move forward with our committee meeting now.
Can we do, that's not a problem then?
Well, it's, the public's not going to be here, and we are live streaming, so I don't see where that would be. And it says following the board meeting.
I'm going to hear that since I'm not on that committee.
Okay, yeah,
If that's okay.
Well, this committee's meeting is going to be fairly quick.
Do what?
Our meeting would hopefully be fairly quick, but yes.
Okay. All right, so.
Well, there was one member that was on the planning commission. Was he planning on coming?
Yeah,
One person.
You didn't get anything?
was one?
You didn't get anything?
As long as we have a form, that's.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, the meeting of the Board of Supervisors is adjourned.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Supervisor Committee meeting to order. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. Like to let's start out.
Robert and I have reviewed your procedures, and I've sent that out to you all. The procedures, if staff feels like there is reason to have a public hearing, it's recommended that to you all. You all then have to decide tonight whether you want to have the public hearing. We have to advertise it for 2 weeks, and then wait a week for to hold the public hearing. So y'all need to pick a date. The earliest we could advertise would be next Wednesday, the 3rd, and then the 10th. So anytime from the 17th on is available for you all to hold a public hearing. We have to notify all the property owners in the codes, in the creek area, of that public hearing. I do not imagine you're going to find much kickback on this one based upon its location. But that is part of the process, is we do have to notify all the adjoining property owners per the ordinance, if you all take a vote to move forward on this matter.
So it'd just be a public hearing
Correct.
on
This application.
adopting this policy.
No, the policy's already been adopted on this application. The public hearing, on whether you'd approve because you will have some areas, the idea here was, this happened actually in Brunswick 2 years ago. They had an application for some on Poplar Creek, one spot. There was a large group of people who came out in opposition to putting it on that creek. While it's not a wide creek, it is a fairly straight creek besides one curve. One curve, other than that. And this was not in the S curve. This was out in the main channel. And that's why you would hold the public hearing. In this case, we notified the property owners. I doubt you would have a lot of opposition on this matter, opposing it, but there would be some where people would go, if you were gonna put one up Bluestone, well, you're gonna put one at the pass where the bridge is, but let's say somewhere in the middle of Bluestone going up. Well, if you lived at the end of Bluestone and you had that, it can be a real issue trying to get home. You know, in this case, as Mr. Tanner said, he went there the other day. It's about a 10-minute pontoon ride through the S curves and no way.
Yeah, no way from his dock to where it would start to the main lake, like even
Which is,
and he did say on this application, could you send the application out to everybody?
I think we did to the committee.
They may have got.
Well, you're not on the committee, that's why you didn't get it, sir.
Yeah.
I can give you one. I can get you one.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when I went out with him, he did take me out on it, but he said that HOA organization had met on it, and they were all in agreement with it. They voted as a group that they were wanted it. So, and it's all in Mecklenburg County. It doesn't fall, you know, within 2 counties like Poplar Creek is.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm in Burton Bay with that creek.
Right.
And, it is not a recreational area. You don't ski in there or wakeboard, anything, like it's entirely too dangerous. So that's the only thing you got is people going real fast.
Right.
And, so I think, you know, I've been opposed to no wake zones in certain areas because it does affect the recreational value of the lake. This,
But not this. And that's what I've heard and understand. So, I guess it's proper procedure for Scar to go ahead with the public hearing then.
Yes, sir, and y'all would need to set the date for that in time. It would have to be, like I said, after the 17th. So we could have your own meeting up here one evening, if that's agreeable with everybody.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yes, sir, and a date and time.
Date time.
I have to look at the calendar.
Is there, do we want to get it done before the July meeting?
I think they would love to have it done before the July meeting, because they've then still got to get on the calendar for the Department of Game and Inland Fisheries for their board meeting and try and then get that approval so that then they can get the buoys out there.
Okay. Does the 17th or 18th, is that too early or is that okay?
That's fine.
I'd like to maybe go ahead and get it out of the way. Does that work for everyone involved?
Of June?
Yes. 19th or the evening meeting?
I won't be here that week, but y'all could, Robert can run it and have fun.
What we got first? 6 o'clock, something like that?
Yeah.
No, do it earlier than that.
6 o'clock's good.
6 o'clock's better than 7, because that's,
Sure.
we're usually eating.
Yeah.
Does that have to come back before the board?
No, sir. This is, y'all, this committee approves it and then it's done.
So what, say 17th or 18th?
I'd say the 17th, that's.
Wednesday night.
That's okay with y'all
That's good.
at 6 o'clock?
Can we send out a reminder?
Yes, sir. We'll send that out beforehand with the agenda. Robert
6
will,
p.m.
and he'll notify also the adjoining property owners.
Okay. So we need a vote on that one now?
You need a motion and a vote on that, sir.
Okay.
Troy made the motion.
Okay.
Make a motion if we, hold a public hearing on June the 17th at 6 o'clock, to address this project,
Okay. All right.
what do you call it?
Y'all heard the motion, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that passes.
That's all we have, sir.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Get home before the tornado.
Yeah, go, I get home.
Yeah, it's more, it's coming up.
Come in too